if you heard it, you go, all I want is peace of mind. You'll know the songs. Big Boston hit. And the guy said, yeah, I think he worked at IBM, and he had a good corporate job and everything else. And he said, but he wanted to rock. He just wanted to start a band. And you look at the lyrics to the song Peace of Mind, and it's like you're climbing the company ladder and hope it doesn't take too long. And then he goes, can you see there'll come a day where it won't matter? Come a day when you'll be gone. And I was like 21 in my garage going, yeah, I got to do what I want to do. Like while I'm here, it worked out for Boston. Worked out for me. Doesn't work for everybody, but it was very interesting. And I was listening to it as like a young person working on a Datsun.
Yeah, but the sad thing is a lot of people come to that realization too late.
Yeah. And also a lot of people aren't that good. And if you're not that good,
what does that mean?
Well, I had a discussion with Greg Gutfeld about this. I interviewed him for my podcast, but I was sort of talking to him about people that just sort of go, nah, I'm leaving and gonna go do my own thing. You know what I mean? I'm going over to Substack. I'll get paid over there, or I'm Tucker Carlson, I'm just leaving Fox and I'll just go. I'll go somewhere else. I'll do something else, and a lot of people, like I know, I sort of did that where I just went like, I'm not going to work for these guys anymore. I'm just going to do my own thing. I got offered a decent, pretty big radio contract about a year after I started my podcast. And I was like, it was like money and contract and guarantees and syndication and stuff. And I was like, nah, I'm just going to do my own thing, But what I was basically saying is I said, we're kind of talking about it. So with Gutfeld, and I was like, who are these people that leave and just go, I'm doing my own thing? And I was like, well, they're people who are good. The people who are in the middle kind of know who they are and they can't leave, like everybody who's just sitting in a cubicle at the New York Times, they may have thoughts that differ on COVID or Black Lives Matter or Kamala Harris or whatever it is, but they shut the fuck up because they need a job and they're not going to go start their own newspaper. They're kind of in the middle. And also I was talking to the aforementioned Tucker Carlson about this. And he said, yeah, when I was 31 and I had 2 kids under 5, I wasn't going anywhere either. Because what am I going to do? I need to provide. I need a job. I'm freshly start a family. I'm young, you know what I mean? So, the people that leave are the people that are good, but there's only so many people that are good. Most people are in the middle or in the lower end and they're happy they're working. They got a job, so you can only do this if you're actually good at what you do. Otherwise, you're just leaving your job. If you're a crappy chef, you can't tell your manager at the restaurant to blow you. I'm going to go start another business. I'm starting my own restaurant. Not if you can't cook. If you can't cook, stay there and do what that guy tells you to do. And that's the majority of the country are them. There's only X amount of, Jay Leno's or Joe Rogan's or Tucker Carlson's or whoever's on Substack crushing it who just went, screw this, I'm going to go do my own thing. Or, I'll self-publish. I don't need a publisher.
Yeah, it's rare. Well, it's also a lot of those people don't realize the infrastructure that's afforded to them when you have I'll just pick on the New York Times you brought it up, like that's a massive organization that provides a ton of visibility for the work you're doing. When all of a sudden it's like you're the one that has to get all that visibility on your own platform. Like you can get lost in obscurity.
Yeah.
You've always been outspoken about politics, or have you? Have you not?
I've always just said what I've wanted to say about most anything. Things took a turn for the political.
I feel like during COVID especially,
I was always not really wanting to convert everything into a political thought. My thought was I have two kids who are twins who are, I don't know, 13 or 14 during COVID, and they just locked their school for a year and a half, and I don't want that for them. So then I am going to think about this and think about how it affects kids, and then I'm going to suggest that they open the schools. And then people are going to call me MAGA extremist or racist or elitist or something. And then I'm going to go, I'm just a guy who wants the schools open. You can label me whatever you want, but I'd like the schools open. And I don't think it's a good idea to shut the beaches either, or the horse trail by my house. So I'm going to say something about that. And you can say that's a political statement, but I don't really feel like it's a political statement. I just feel like it's A, truthful, and B, has to do with wanting schools open and the playgrounds open, because I think it's better for kids, and I think it's going to damage kids if they have to stay home and they don't get vitamin D and everything else. And so in the past, you would probably say something like that, and it would not be political. It would just be this person. A long time ago, this person, wants marijuana legalized. Another person doesn't want it, or gay marriage or whatever. But you weren't called a political person. It was just a subject and you had an opinion. Now you're called political if you would like, whoa, we're going to defund the police and reimagine policing. And I'm like, I don't think that's a good idea. Oh, because of the MAGA hat you're wearing. It's like, nope, just think it's a bad plan. And I think people are going to get hurt, and I think we'll end up having to fix it later on. So I'm just here to tell you I disagree with half the shit you're talking about. But I'm not saying it because I have an agenda with a affiliation with one party or the next. I just happen to believe this is not going to work.
It seems like now you can't, if you believe one thought on either side, you have to go to the extreme.
But here's the problem: you can't have an idea anymore without it being correlated with a side.
It's wild.
Yeah,
if I say, hey, I don't think the government spends our money responsibly, and I think that they shouldn't be allowed to spend it the way they do without some kind of oversight committee or without some kind of repercussion if you end up spending it wrong. People are going to say, MAGA, but it's like, no, I just think I'm an entrepreneur. I run a business. If I went to my shareholders and I said, hey guys, I'm going to run this company and we're going to lose millions of dollars every year. Mm-hmm. And if we do, I need you to bail me out every time by money that you find from somewhere else. It'd be like, well, that's not a good idea. Right. And I think that's what it's not a political thing. Right. Or if I say, hey, I'm somebody that is health conscious. I don't think it's a good idea for me to lock myself indoors and not exercise to hide from a virus that, may not kill me. It's not political. It's just an idea. And I think the problem is that these political parties and a lot of media pundits have made these issues political to kind of pit each other or put people against each other. And they've taken ideas now and they've made them about sides. And that's a dangerous thing. Because nobody can now debate good or bad ideas.
I think conveniently perhaps, but the right has a little more tolerance for diversity of opinion, and that when I was interviewing Tucker Carlson, I don't know, 2 years ago or a year and a half ago, I was kind of like, what do you want to do? You're going to start a network or whatever it was. And